Hello, welcome to West Ham Confidential on Revelator Alf. So, in the news recently, the last couple of days, the stadium issues have come into the public attention a lot more. The operators and the owners, E20, LLDC, have basically trying to be making it public, trying to get a sympathy vote, if you like, saying that they're losing money, they're losing millions, and the tenancy agreement that West Ham have with the stadium for 97 years, we're only paying $2.5 million a year, is just not good enough. You know, that $2.5 million doesn't even cover the cost to us, put on a game, put on an event. The problem is, this is like an ongoing saga. So, on the one hand, we've got owners who have taken us away from, Upton Park and, taken us over to Stratford, put us into this stadium that really isn't fit for the football as yet. But, in many ways, they've done a great deal because, if you look at the money that they're saving and actually only paying £2.5 million a year, that means there's a lot more money now, as in proof in the summer, a lot more money for transfers and, investment into the club, as it were, or into the players, if that indeed is actually going to happen. So, I'm not saying that they're right, but I'm saying this is potentially a one benefit. The problem is that obviously this is causing a big stink, and the LLDC and certainly E20, certainly LLDC are really trying to, ramp up this anti-West Ham feeling, in the press. And in all fairness to West Ham, they've come back and said, well, look, we've signed a contract here. This is the contract we've signed. You're fully aware of it. You're the ones who signed the contract with us. We're only paying £2.5 million a year. Well, for us, yes, it's a bloody good deal. But, if you don't want it, you shouldn't have signed it. And it's a rock solid, contract. Now, I don't know much about, the contract law, but I'm just wondering whether there's a get out of jail clause for the LLDC. Can they terminate the, tenancy agreement at any short notice? Like a landlord can terminate a tenancy agreement with a, with a tenant, in a house or a flat or something like that. Give them enough notice. I would assume there hasn't. The club have made this rock solid. And there isn't any clause in there. So basically, what we can expect over the next few months: more LLDC stuff, more E20 stuff, more woes saying, West Ham are only paying this much and it's actually costing us this much. We're losing millions year upon year. Well, this is either going to go one way, isn't it? They're either going to try and kick us out, or it's going to be, offered to West Ham to buy out. Now, whatever the fee they're going to charge, Now, here's a question. Would the board really want to buy the stadium? Would they want to do it? Considering that they're only paying £2.5 million a year now, you've got to think to yourself, well, why would you? Why, if you've got a rock solid, contract to be there, there's no way you're going to be evicted, okay, then, you can just stay there infinitum, can't you? Well, certainly for 97 years. Why would you go and spend, millions upon millions, to buy a stadium? The problem is, if LLDC and the E20 just go bankrupt, then there's actually nobody running that stadium. Therefore, nobody running the stadium, therefore West Ham are paying money to something that doesn't exist. So there'd be nothing to actually take care of all the maintenance of the stadium and, pay for all the stewarding and all in the policing and all that kind of stuff, which West Ham don't pay for right now. So it's, it's one of those things, we can't really afford, as a club, we can't afford to have LLDC go bankrupt or for them to, shut down the stadium because we need somebody to maintain it. At the same time, the owners, from a business point of view, they said, well, why do we want to spend that money? Unless the stadium is handed over. If the stadium is handed over, which, I don't know, is that likely to happen? I don't think it's likely to happen at all. If that stadium is handed over, That means West Ham get a free stadium, but they're going to have to, possibly all the money that they've been saving, by only paying £2.5 million a year and not spending it on players. Maybe there's a little war chest there to say, right, okay, we can go and buy the stadium. Now we can actually invest in that stadium and start changing it to meet the football needs. So all the problems about the stadium that we've had the last couple of seasons, all the moans, the gripes, that the fans have had, that media people have had, that other, fans have had, or other teams have had, they can be addressed. Because right now, it doesn't matter what you say about the board, you're probably going to hate them, aren't you? I mean, let's face it. But they can't do anything. They can't do anything with that stadium, because no matter, they have tried, not that I've got the inside track here, but it's public knowledge that they have tried on so many different levels to, affect, seating and arrangements and, issues outside the stadium, leading up to the stadium, around the stadium itself, inside it. But every turn, they are being blocked by the LLDC and by E20 as well. So they've had that's why they've had to keep on going to court, with some of the things. And the court keep on ruling in favour of West Ham, but LLDC or E20 just keep on trying to find a way not to fulfil their end of the deal. And even when West Ham even try and offer to pay, they try to pay for the pitch surround, which is going to come to 300 something odd £1,000, to change the colour of the surround to a purple, a claret, and I think LLDC only wanted it changed to a blue or dark blue or light blue or whatever it was. No, navy blue, wasn't it? That's right. So, they can't win. They can't. Yes, West Ham have taken us, the board have taken us away from Upton Park and they've put us in there. I agree. I'm totally anti-board for that point of view. However, I kind of have sympathy with them for the issues that they cannot resolve at the stadium because their hands are tied. They can't do anything. No matter how much they protest, no matter how many court cases they go to, it always seems the same thing. This is only going one way, isn't it? It's going to come to a pinch point, I should say, where something needs to be done with the stadium. It's probably going to come under political pressure, either from the Mayor of London, but possibly more likely to be something like the Treasury. It's going to go at government level, and they're going to say, look, you cannot run an operation, a stadium, that's costing the taxpayer 20, 30 million pounds a year or wherever. It's just not on. And the more this is made public, in many ways it's a good thing. West Ham keep on saying, well, or will have to keep on standing their ground and say, look, we have signed a contract, we are paying, and we want to do what exactly right, but you're not the ones who are filling your end of the bargain. I can only see this going one way. Either they're going to shut down the stadium and go bankrupt, which obviously we don't want, we can't do, or they're going to have to come to us. Hopefully the board will say, thank you very much, we'll have that, and they'll run with it. They won't try and eke out a better deal or whatever like that. Hopefully, in the ideal scenario, is that they will buy the stadium, or they will take hold of the stadium. Now, does that mean they own the land? Does that mean they own the surrounding land? Can they do anything with it? I'm not sure that will be the case. It will probably be like somebody owns the land and they own the the actual building itself. So it's a minefield. It's an absolute minefield of what's going to happen. But this story, it's been running for on and on. But obviously recently, the last two days, it's just been ramped up, and it's going to get a lot. It's going to be a lot more involved, and a lot more news coming out. So just keep your eyes out on the news, mainstream news, sports news, online, whatever you want to look at it. But I think I think there's going to be a lot of fans who are not West Ham fans who are going to be trying to berate us, and they're going to try and say, oh yeah, you're getting a stadium for nothing and all that kind of stuff. But actually, we've had a terrible time, a torrid time being there, and we've had so many problems, and they've never been resolved because of this arrangement that, yes, West Ham bought into, the board bought into, but they've got a damn good deal for it. They got a damn good deal, and LLDC obviously don't like it because they're losing all that money. Well, you can understand why they don't like it. whoever made the deal has probably just scarpered it and gone off now, and so it's up to everybody else to sort out this mess, and it is a bloody mess, and that's the thing. So it doesn't matter how much we moan at the board, you know, the current situation, they can't do anything until all this is resolved. Anyway, you know, it's never easy being a West Ham fan, is it? Hope you enjoy this West Ham Confidential and on Revelator Alpha. Catch you on the next one, whenever it is. Cheers.